So now in this part, we are going to perform some analysis. Now, if you recall from our problem statement, we have to perform funding analysis, we have to perform country analysis, and we have to perform sector analysis, right? These are the places where Tech Club would like to invest. So in this case, remember the constraint which we had, like investment should happen only between 5 to $15 million, and second constraint was the English speaking countries. So let's talk about funding type analysis first. Now, if you recall, in the last case, we have created the master data frame, which was the merge data frame for it. Let's load it, see the data. And now in the funding analysis, we want to identify whether we should go for venture investment or seed investment or angel investment or private equity. So what we will do is we will filter out the data based on the round funding type. So that's what we have done in this particular code. Now there will be a very important decision which we have to make here. Should we make the call based on the mean value, or should we make the call based on the median value? So for that, we need to understand whether we have outliers or not here. So let's do that. So in this case, let's look at the raised amount USD. And on the Y axis, if you notice, I have taken the log of it. So that otherwise, if you remove the log and create this, you will notice that you will not be able to make out anything of it, because it's completely on a very bad scale. And that's the reason you will not be able to make any information out of it. Now let's look at the summary stats. It will give you even better insight, but here definitely we can see from here that there are some outliers going up, right? You can see that there are a lot of dots above this quartile. Now let's look at this describe, and this is kind of confirming our thing as well, right? You can notice here that my median value is here, which is 10 to the power 6, and mean value is also 10 to the power 6. So it sounds good, right? But at the same time, look at the number. Here we have 2 million of median, and there we have 9 million of median. Now definitely this is not good, right? If you look at it, 9 million versus 2 million have a good difference in terms of mean and median. So in this case, maybe we would like to go with respect to a median rather than going with the mean part. Now let's go ahead and see few more components with respect to this. What we're gonna do is, now let's draw a box plot, and this box plot is again for all the funding type. So on the y-axis with the log scale, we have put raised amount USD, which is basically this part, and on x-axis we have put venture, seed, private equity, and angel. So this is giving us an insight that how this data is distributed. So you can notice that maybe seed investment is happening lower, then the angel is investment and all, and then venture, and then private equity. And if you know the startup how it works, it basically makes sense also. This is how the investment is happening. But for us, the main thing is to look at these outliers, right? So we do have a lot of outside going values, which tells us that we should definitely go for median. Now one more thing what we can do is we can do a comparison of mean and median value into while creating a simple pivot table. Now you can see here that what we are trying to do is on the basically here, like for we have created this for median part. So you can see that for angel, this is the median value for this value. For venture, we have like 5 into 10 to the power I think 6. Similarly, but here you can see this is 10 to the power 6, but this right hand side, right? So this is the right hand side. This right hand side is your mean value, and anything here is the median value. But if you compare here, this is 10 to the power 7, right? So there's a huge difference popping up here. Even you can compare for others also, right? You can see that there's a huge difference in median and mean. So this tells us that probably we should look forward for looking at the median instead of looking at the mean value. So now let's do basically median for all this investment type, with which is going to be your private equity, venture, or angel investment, or seed investment. So what we have done is we have done it in the sorted way. Now by looking at it, it looks like private equity have the maximum investment happening, so we can go with this. But we have to remember our rule. We cannot go beyond 5 million to 15 million part, right? So we cannot go this. This is above our pocket. Now, in the second part, venture is falling in our pocket. This is venture is definitely falling in our pocket. But if we look at this two, definitely they are below our pocket. Means I don't want to look at anything below $5 million. So maybe I will go for venture. So that is the way we can choose it. Now you can make out it's so important to choose whether you should go for median and mean here, right? So because mean could give you completely different result. So one way I could ask you to do as a homework activity is that you can probably look at if you can remove first outliers and then use the mean as this and see that whether you're getting the same result or not. So this can be another strategy which I want you to attempt and see whether it works. So this is the first part where we looked at the investment type. So we got that funding type. We need to look at the venture. Oh, sorry. We need to look at the venture. Same, and we will not take anything else, right? So this is the first answer we got. Now let's look at the country analysis where we need to look at the top three English speaking countries. Now in the second part, we basically what we are actually trying to find out is we want to find out those countries where the maximum investment is happening, but at the same time they should be English speaking country so that we should not face any sort of communication issue. So that was the second restriction kind of thing which we have put across with it. Now, what we are going to do, since we have decided that we will go only with venture, so let's take out the data only for venture. Because maybe I would only try to analyze with respect to venture now that which country is having the maximum investment. That will make more sense for us. Now, so we have done it. Then after that, what we can do is we can quickly see with respect to like USA and all, and we have done all this in the sorted order. Like what is the value coming up for this, right? So we have just basically summed up all the funding which have happened for each country, and in the sorted order we have returned you the result. Now this is interesting. We got almost our point. Now we can extract the top nine countries. So these are our top nine countries, which because it was in sorted order, we can just take the top nine rows from it, and we can see that we got USA, China, GBR, India, Canada, France, and so on. Right. So these are the countries we got. Now, but we are interested in only top three English speaking country. We are not at all interested in any other type of countries. And if you will look at the link which I have given you, basically, definitely USA is one of the English speaking country. But China is not. So China we have to rule out. So China do not have English speaking part. So then GBR and India is also English speaking country. So we can basically take them up. So in this case, we will go with these English speaking countries. And basically, if you look at the output, this is basically the output for it. So we basically have pulled out only the data for English speaking country. Let's look at the data frame information. Now we are left with 38,800 rows. This looks good. You can plot it even for all these three countries to see that how the investment is happening, and we can see that this is the way investment is flowing in these top three English speaking countries. Now, after this, we need to work on sector analysis. We will learn to that in the next video. But as told you that this is not the only way we have done this analysis. And at the same time, if you recall from the problem statement, you need to keep filling your those sheets also which I have given you. So that was just a way for you to basically verify my answers. But these are not hard and fast things, but definitely when you will be working across for a real-time projects, you might come across these kind of requirements a lot. Like, fill this kind of sheets and give us the answer in appropriate format. And if you recall, even I have added one more requirement for you to prepare a presentation and post it to your discussion forum to showcase to the other students that what you are recommending to TechLove for this. Maybe you can upload it on Google Drive and give the link for everyone to just look at it. So this will be a good thing from your end to try. This will really help out. But what we will do is the next part is sector analysis. This is the final analysis which we're going to work on in this statement.